Good afternoon. Welcome to the February 3rd, 2025 meeting of the East Bridgewater Board of Health. On the agenda today, we have no meetings or hearings. We'll jump right into action items. First, we have invoices. First, we have Weston and Sampson Engineers, invoice in the amount of $2,854.80 for the Bridge Street landfill fencing project. Any discussions? I would entertain a motion to approve the Weston and Sampson invoice as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right.
No, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, next we have an invoice for the public health nurse in the amount of $238 for cardio check strips. Any discussion? In that case, I will make a motion to accept the $238 invoice for cardio strips for the nurse.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And last, we have an invoice for B&D Associates in the amount of $240. That's for medical waste pickup. Any discussion on that one? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve the B&D Associates invoice as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have the minutes from the January 6th, 2025 meeting. Did anyone, or does everyone have a chance to review those? And were we missing anyone on that meeting?
No.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve the January 6th, 2025 minutes as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, those are approved. Next, we've got 2025 permit renewals. First, we have Family Bakery in East Bridgewater Food Pantry. And all of these applications are complete, correct?
Both applications are complete.
All right. I will entertain a motion to approve Family Bakery and East Bridgewater Food Pantry.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that is approved. Next, we have renewal installer service licenses for Ace Excavation, Inc., Edward Talent, and JJ Bossy Construction. All applications complete?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have a
We're
few
gonna
more.
continue.
We have Michael Bossy, E. Watson Excavating, Eric Watson, A.E. Wood Corp., Al Wood, Kruger Construction, and Matthew Kruger.
And all applications are complete.
All right. I will make a motion to accept the renewal installer licenses. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that is approved. Next, we have new installer licenses for Nick Edwards Landscaping, Inc., and Nick Edwards.
And the application's complete.
All right. I will move to approve the new installer license for Nick Edwards Landscaping and Nick Edwards.
Second.
Second?
Sure.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is approved. And last, we have septic hauler permit for Premier Portable Potties, Inc.
And the application's complete.
All right. I will move to approve the hauler permit for Premier Portable Potties, Inc. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. That is approved. Next, we have discussion on the fiscal year 26 budget. Wanted to just clarify a little bit from our last meeting where we discussed two fees that were totally separate, or two items, I should say. The first is Brown and Caldwell's environmental monitoring requirements for the Bridge Street landfill PFAS testing. And that is the item that we added into the budget in the amount of $14,700. Again, that's PFAS testing that's required by the DEP. And that is totally separate from the MS4 funding, which we had briefly discussed. That's a federal program that's completely two separate animals. Any discussion on the budget as amended? All right. Next, we have a betterment loan application for 17 Hereford Lane in the amount of $40,000.
Yes. And their application, or their estimated cost of $40,000, and their loan application is complete.
All right. I will make a motion to accept the betterment loan application for 17 Hereford Lane. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that is approved. Next, we have a betterment loan agreement for 3 Walnut Court for a total cost of $23,710.
And it is complete and ready for the board to make a motion.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Betterment loan agreement is approved. Next, we have disposal system construction permits. See an upgrade to 34 River Road. Do we
He's
have any?
requesting a waiver from having 2 holes in the disposal area. They had an original hole when they did the system in 1994, I think, and the second hole would be the one that we did recently.
Okay.
So he's okay on that one.
All right. Any discussion? I will make a motion to approve the disposal construction permit for 34 River Road. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that is approved. And then we have a local upgrade for 157 Elm Street.
Yep, the applicant's looking for a 4-foot vertical separation from high water, groundwater for a perk test that's less than 2 minutes and it's required 5. And he's also asking for a reduction from the 20-foot setback from the foundation, asking for 10 feet. And he'll put a plastic liner all around it. The first one comes with a restriction that it's going to be restricted to what's there now. It's a 4-bedroom.
All right.
4-bedroom, 9-room house.
Okay, so we're going from 4 to 3,
Yep,
and then,
actually 5 to 4.
okay, 'cause that's not what it says here. It says local upgrade approval allowing a reduction
Yeah.
from 4 to 3.
The perk rate was less than 2 minutes an inch, so they want a 4-foot separation.
Okay.
Required
so,
is
all
a
right,
5.
Because it's, all right, so the percolation is at the rate of 2 inches or greater than 2 inches per inch, or 2 minutes per inch. So that would indicate a 5-foot separation?
Nope, you know.
Where is the 5-foot
You
coming
know
from?
what, you're right. I'm reading greater than 2 minutes an inch, thinking it was faster than 2. He wants a local upgrade approval allowing 4 to 3 feet. So you're right, Rob. You see it halfway down that paragraph.
Okay, and the other is the 20-foot to 10-foot separation or setback from the foundation
Right,
to Legion Field.
yep.
And is that where the wrap is coming in?
No, the restriction would be the groundwater variance. The 4 to 3 feet would be the restriction.
Okay, so where's the wrap coming into play?
The wrap would be along the side of the leaching field that's closest to the house. Because you're going down and close.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
I will accept a motion to approve the local upgrade for 157 Elm Street.
I'll make that motion that we accept the upgrades.
All right, do I have a second?
I will second that.
All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so 157 Elm Street is approved. Next, we have a discussion on 105 CMR's Department of Public Health .335, treatment of persons exposed to rabies. Not sure how much the rest of the board has sort of gotten into this particular issue, but we had an individual who was exposed to rabies along with their family members and pets. And they would like the town to cover the cost of vaccinations and testing. Is that about it?
I think so, yeah.
It is.
So we reached out to town council to get their take on our obligations under the CMR. And essentially, the law requires us to cover testing and treatment for people without insurance.
Right.
The people involved do have health insurance. They're asking us to cover essentially anything not covered by their insurance.
Not only for humans, but for their pets.
And to cover the testing for their pets. Town council's take is that we have no obligation to do either, that we can cover some of those costs should we decide to, but that we're not obligated, with just the caution that we may be setting a precedent that other people may come back to us requesting payment of similar costs.
We probably have maybe 4 incidences a year.
And what's the total amount they're asking for? It's like,
Put it here. I believe it
it was in there somewhere.
Did put it somewhere. I think it's
$1,080.03. But that included the pets, and where council said that 105 CMR, Department of Public Health, it excludes pets for treatment. It just references humans.
Humans.
And it just references the vaccine, not stitches needed to close wounds or any
Anything
advanced
above
care
and
from that, yeah.
Just something related directly to the virus, basically.
Yeah, exactly. The
Um,
other thought on that one is the fact that you're supposed to have your animals vaccinated, and we offer a low-cost clinic for that.
I'm not even sure why we're bringing this up for a vote. I mean, we shouldn't have to vote every time. It's clear on what the law says. I'm not even sure why this is even in front of us. I know that we had asked, other than for an informational standpoint only, you know, we had reached out to council to get clarification, but it's not something that I think we should be voting on. The answer is just look at the law.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Chairman, I'll defer that to you.
No, I mean, and that may be the answer. I think the law probably dates to when, it was.
Not everybody had health insurance.
Right. Before pretty much everyone in Massachusetts is
1950s.
required to have health insurance under some program or other, so I think that's probably the case. I don't know if that says anything about how many times this may come up if we decided to pay something, but I don't think we have any obligation, and certainly not for the pets. I don't know if we need to take a vote or if we can just put that in a letter. I mean, they
Do you want
haven't,
a letter created and that the board then will say that it will come from the chair?
yeah, why don't we do that? I mean, if they want to come in and discuss it further, I mean, they're welcome. They didn't come today, but,
They could, the reason, Rob, that it's in front of the board is that the family did come in.
Sure,
and
no,
and their interpretation of the law was that they were covered,
Yeah.
so then hence, everybody has their own interpretation, hence why we reached out to council.
Yep.
And then, and I'm not sure if it was a vote in front of the board, it was just more of an open dialogue, so that we can then go back to the family and to.
Fair enough.
To resolve it with them.
And that would be, again, just as you had mentioned, that might be a letter,
Mhm.
from you. And then, at the same time, we could, reach back out to council and ask if there's something we should be voting on. But,
Yep.
my interpretation is that
A lot.
probably not.
Yep.
And then, you can sign a letter stating.
This-
what
this is our
what
interpretation.
What you've, what your interpretation is based off of, speaking with council, and, it may not be a letter that the customer is looking for, but that's, it is what it is.
no, I think that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. So we'll send out a letter explaining our interpretation of the ECMR, and like I said, if they feel otherwise and like to speak to us, they're welcome to come in.
Great.
Next, we have a discussion about the Meadowbrook project.
Okay, I originally sent my thoughts into them probably in August and September, and that's the one that looks like that. But they were requesting a letter from the board, and I put a draft one in there that looks like, it says draft on the bottom. Feel free to cross, change, whatever, I just wanted to kind of get you rolling in the right direction. Basically, the ZBA, I think you had some information from them. The planning board wants to consider it as two separate permits, and I would agree with that. We have one that's on septic and one that's on sewage. One that's rental apartments and has a property management, and one that's privately owned residential townhouses. So those two.
Just before we get too much further, I'm sorry, Jimmy, so which is which? Which is the septic and which is sewer, the private or the
The
apartments?
townhouses off of Winter Street are the septic, the proposed septic system. The, don't quote me on the number, it changes, 160 apartments
no, I
off of
get
North
that.
Bedford are the sewer part. You have already denied the septic based on the fact that it was 3 contiguous lots and it's not under local Board of Health control. So I just offered you this as like a really draft thing that, if you like it, you can put it on your letterhead and maybe have Tom sign it. Or if you all three want to sign it, just let me know that too.
And this is just to run down the list with them to say, this is what we need,
Here's your comments.
this is what we're doing, this is what we're staying away from, that type
Yep.
of thing.
So number 1 says the board views the project as two distinct developments as to reliance on the Winter Street development on-site septic for Title V, and the North Bedford seat as sewer disposal per 310 CMR 15, which is groundwater discharge sewage.
Can we just, can you just speak to bullet point number 3 a little bit?
Okay. The Winter Street site has excessive soils. I've done over 150 holes out there, so there has been adequate check. Excessive soil assessment, and approximately 65 to 70% of the property does not meet the criteria as to suitable soils and groundwater elevations for 310 CMR 15 to support an on-site septic system and the required reserve area. A lot of places they showed the reserve area failed, didn't meet the 60-minute an inch perk rate, didn't have groundwater far enough in the ground to meet the code. Okay? The Board of Health denied the permits for such an application on April 1st, 2024. Given the unsuitable area and the amount of impervious area, buildings, pavement, things that don't, patios, the potential for increased flooding in this area is high. So when you have water runoff, it can't go straight down. It goes to like the nearest catch basin, and that raises the water in that area. Also, because we have stormwater management, which is those rain gardens and detention basins, retention basins, that water would become higher.
Okay, so
There's
who
more water.
who owns stormwater runoff in East Bridgewater? We
The
used to be
DPW
planning board, so now it's
The DPW does it,
Okay.
yeah. So what happens in those cases, when you're only 25 or 50 feet away from them, the detention basins, infiltration would, if it gets high enough, goes into the basements or into the first floor, depending on what kind of a setup there is there. And that, under housing code, would make those first floors and basements uninhabitable. Too much moisture, mold, mildew, dampness, that kind of a thing.
Okay, so after all of this, what are we recommending? Is there an alternative solution, or is it just a hard no?
They would have to prove that that didn't happen, that the water table would not rise in that area enough to be of a concern.
And they haven't presented anything to date?
They haven't.
Okay.
They haven't. On the other part of that, infiltration of the leaching areas of on-site. So if the septic gets flooded out, it's gonna go into the detention basins. The nitrates and the phosphates and whatever went down the sink is gonna end up in the detention basins and any wetlands nearby. 4, they show a pool. I have no information on that. 5, same deal. They show hospitality areas. So I just put those in there. Their next meeting is the 12th, I think, February 12th.
Okay, so if we send this letter, what are we looking to achieve? Are we looking to just get the plans for the swimming pool and the food code?
It will have to come to you guys anyways.
Right, okay, but we're
the
just
ZBA
informing
has-
them that
Yeah.
so our intent is to let them know that we're not comfortable with what they've submitted so far as the Winter Street project with the challenges with the 150 holes? Okay.
In other words, we've had adequate assessment out there, I think.
Okay. And then going back to bullet point 2, paragraph or section A.
Mhm. The interior plans for Winter Street were submitted were a prototype for the duplexes. They submitted duplexes, not triplexes, in another town. So they weren't plans specific to Winter Street. So I couldn't really assess whether that part of the triplex, the one that's in the middle and wooded by 2 others, has enough light and ventilation to meet housing code.
Okay, so we're asking them to resubmit actual plans
Yep.
for the, okay.
And they had things like,
Okay, and then subsection B or paragraph B, section B, whatever you want to call it, that's the same issue, but for the Bedford Street project?
right,
Okay,
right.
okay.
We can put it on your letterhead. Do you want it to be signed by the chair, or you also want to come in and sign it?
Yeah, we should probably vote or, discuss what you guys' thoughts are with what our goal is in communicating back to the developer.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, I don't know if we want to get something to them before their next meeting, or if they have any timetable sort of concerns. My thought would be to maybe redline the letter a little bit and then just send it out, but I don't know if that needs a further vote.
I just wanted to get you rolling.
Right, no, I know, yeah.
Well, if we're gonna vote on it, then we can't be making them changes and then send it out. We need to, if you need a, you know, if we need another week to make edits and then bring it back.
Yeah, I think that's what we should, I mean, unless there's,
Nope, it's okay. I just,
I
like I
think
said,
that's what we do. I mean, I can redline
Yep.
a copy
Everybody
and
can
maybe
put their-
circulate it. and-
Yep, we can put our, everyone's comments in. If it's just you, that's fine. But then the edited version would come back here and then we would vote on it and ship it.
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
that. We'll come back, we'll approve
so we
it.
meet next on the 17th?
On the 24th.
Oh, the 24th. So, okay. I'll send a little email after the ZBA saying the board is considering, and we'll have a letter in by the end of the month.
Yeah.
So we're not on the 17th?
It's a
No.
holiday.
What
Sorry.
holiday?
Patriots, President's Day. Is it Patriots Day? No, it's President's Day.
Okay.
17th.
Sorry.
So the 24th is a makeup.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't do well with makeup makeup classes.
Makeup
Our
day.
last meeting was a makeup one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that's the best route. I mean, I think this is pretty good. I think we can
Feel free.
just clarify a little bit, just to give them a better idea of what we're asking for each of these bullet points, as opposed to just here are the issues.
Agreed.
So,
Sounds good.
I don't know if we have to take a vote to table that to the next agenda, or the next meeting. All right. Next, we have the Bridge Street landfill project. And we have,
There's something with the, this is the project, so per our discussion and the agreement with the board that we did in January, tonight you would get the bids, which looks like this. You guys got all that? I didn't know if what was in the packet at
You
the time.
should.
It's on the second page.
Yep.
Okay, and so it has go to bid amount 1, 2, and 3, and then there's a letter from Sampson and Weston that says they vetted the top 3, or the bottom 3, actually, and their recommendation. Where is that? And he does say in there what language to use if you're making a vote, okay?
So we received 12 bids. Weston and Sampson has gone over them, analyzed the bottom 3, gotten referrals or checked their references.
Yep.
And they're recommending that we go with the bottom bid, which is Steel Co. Chain Link Fence Erecting Co. Inc., in the amount of $92,511.11. And if we decide to accept that recommendation, they've got a draft letter to Steel Co. Informing them that they've been selected, which is on page 2, 3. And lays out, obviously, subject to approval of the agreement, bond, all that good stuff, certificates of insurance, and whatnot.
So if they went through with that, then Weston and Sampson would send a letter to them saying, come into the next meeting, so that you could sign the
Make
contract.
it all official.
Yep, yep.
The insurance and bonding criteria was in the,
Bid specifications.
yeah, okay. Thought I saw it, just wasn't sure. Okay, finally we get a fence.
All right.
I will go when it's up.
Seeing as though we have contracted with Weston and Sampson to go over these bids and make sure they're in conformance with their own specifications and check on the lowest bidders, I will entertain a motion to accept the bid from Steel Co. Chain Link Fence Erecting Company, Inc.
I will make that motion.
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so that is approved. We are making progress towards the fence.
Good.
All right. Let's see. Next, we have a discussion of avian flu.
So this is, you should have some paperwork there. And today we got guidance from DPH too, but theirs is mostly tests for this, how to send a specimen into the lab, that kind of thing. So a couple of months ago, I had drawn up something for our backyard bunch. And it's a two-pager that recommends what to do and how to take care of yourself and things like that. What has happened is, what we talked about, it's H5N1, or called HPAI. And it's high potency avian flu. That's what that stands for. Last year, we were destroying turkeys and turkey flocks. Yeah, I got one. And this has been on our website since August. Last year, we were destroying turkeys and turkey flocks, and it took a while to get up to Massachusetts. It probably hit about September for Massachusetts. Now it's hit our, big time, it has hit our bigger birds, swans, ducks, geese. And it's usually fatal within 40 hours of the flocks being infected. Brockton has closed E.W. Fields Park for that reason, because a lot of the ducks and geese over there died. Plymouth destroyed a lot of them over the last weekend. Halifax and Hanson both have huge lakes where this is happening. When I mean a lot, I'm talking 50 to 100 birds, not,
Yeah.
the whole population goes down. And we've had our share. Don't know the quite numbers, but we've had it. So that's what the big concern is. If you go out on the ice to help an animal, which people like to do, you're in intimate contact with that animal, and now you can possibly become infected.
Yeah.
We've had 65 to 100 people over the United States that have become infected, and it's now starting to have fatalities in the human population. So, generally, don't go near the birds.
Yeah, stay away from all dead animals, dead birds especially.
Yep.
I know we've added some information to the town website. We've had this up. We added, I think, end of last week, we added a press release from the state officials on just the growing problem. I think we're going to try to add some, just some local contact information, some town-specific information to the website. And if anybody has any problems or any questions, they have the numbers to reach us or animal control. But again, the big takeaway is stay away from any dead birds. We don't have anything we should consider as far as not necessarily closures or.
We don't have places where ducks and geese conjugate where people feed them.
Yeah, we don't have a.
That would be the big concern.
Yeah.
Obviously, our backyard people are concerned and they're dealing with it. I put a to-go kit together for our ACOs, N95s, gloves, booties, so they're protected. And we went through procedure with them on how to do that. But the sheer numbers of birds dying, the state is not accepting them for testing anymore.
Yeah.
Just too many. It's widespread.
Yeah. And I guess we dodged it for a little while longer than most of the other towns. But now we're seeing it hit pretty heavy in the bird population, so.
So we will be monitoring Maven for any human exposures. And I'll let you know if that pops.
All right, well, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not is right.
Anything else on avian flu?
No.
All right. Next, we have a health agent update.
Okay. I don't know what I did. Oh, here it is. A lot of it we've gone over, because when I'm writing this sometimes. I did a couple of perks this week. I did 17 Hereford Lane, and I did 22 Ashley Drive this morning. Plans submitted, 157 Elm Street and 34 River Road. No new constructions on the books. Plans under construction, 450 Pleasant, 1255 Washington, 132 Old Plymouth Street. Food inspections. Given the amount of work it's been going on, not a lot of food inspections got done, sorry, but we opened the Honeydew Donuts on North Bedford Street, and Country Convenience Store is undergoing a change in ownership. Routine inspections for Focus Nutrition and the Joppa Market both did fairly well. Ongoing housing, 165 Bridge Street. If you have any questions, stop me and ask.
Okay, I'm sorry, just going back to number 5. Is there somebody operating in Country Convenience where the restaurant, the little where Sophia's used to be?
Right, no.
Okay,
And what I hit a problem, he has using that for storage because he still has to pay
Okay.
the rent.
fair enough.
I did have a problem with the clerk who wouldn't let me do the inspections. Problem is that in order to get to that area that Rob's talking about, you have to go through the front one. There's no other way around.
No, that's okay. I mean,
But I got an inspection the other
okay,
day,
good.
so we're good. Housing, 165 Bridge Street is ongoing. 17 West Union Street is ongoing. 11 Willow Ave is ongoing. 41 Oregon Street and 652 Oak Street, I think we will get that solved this week and closed.
And 165, he lost the appeal, is that correct?
He appealed the ticket fines for
Mhm.
the cars that the police department enforces, and he lost that appeal.
Okay.
Yeah. Bridge Street landfill repairs, we kind of talked about that. We did the pre-bid opening on Thursday, and you've got the bids there, and considered them for your award. Bridge Street PFABs landfill testing schedule. You pretty much know this, but this did happen since the last time we met. DEP has informed the department that we're requiring PFABs testing at 13 additional locations. They're mostly surface water in all our monitoring wells. It's going to start in March, give or take a day or two, depending on weather, okay? I've surveyed all our wells in town, and there's one well that I don't have enough information on it. It's at 511 Bridge Street, and I think it's for the big red barn. So probably not something I have to worry a ton about.
What number?
511, it's way far away. It's down across Plymouth Street and down almost to the brook, the
Bridge Street. I'm 517 Bridge Street, so it can't be that far down. A quarter of a mile
it's
away
a-
from the intersection.
It's a big red barn on the right-hand side if you're coming from Plymouth Street.
Yeah, it's with the silo.
Yeah, that one.
Can't be 511.
Well,
That
that-
bridge, it might be 511. No, it can't be Plymouth either.
I'll double check it.
Yeah.
Anyways, from what I can tell and talking to people that have been out there and the owners, it's in the barn. It's not the house. The house is hooked up to town water, so that was the concern. And all the ones in Bridgewater are all hooked up to town water too. And estimated increased cost is $14,700. Number 9, HPHEG is, the intern's still working on the tobacco regulations, and given all that's going on, I think we can probably look at those maybe later this spring instead of the ADUs, accessory dwelling units that were signed into law by Governor Healy. I'm just going to enforce the regulations that we have for additions, because DEP has not sent any guidance out. Also, they have to be reviewed to see if they meet housing code. My question to you is, do you want to institute a plan review fee?
Okay, so you're talking about you're gonna continue on with ADUs that are attached to the house, like
Or
a
not.
garage, things like that. Or, now you're saying or not?
Well, some of them,
So they
a
can
lot
be
of garages
freestanding?
aren't attached.
Okay, so the ADU could be freestanding or,
Right.
Okay, attached to the main dwelling.
Yeah, like barns and
Okay, so
garages.
from there,
Be an increase in flow per Title V, so you'd assess it out as a number of bedrooms. Under Title V right now, they consider that a multifamily dwelling, and multifamily dwellings have increased requirements. For instance, you have to have a 2-compartment tank, or you have to have 2 tanks in series, and increased leaching area.
okay, that's under the definition of multi-dwelling, but not under the definition of ADU.
DEP considers them 2 families,
Okay, all right.
at least right this minute. Okay, they could change that in the future, but I don't know.
I mean, the idea is to open up
Increase.
the amount of housing, right, with
Yeah.
sort of freeing up some of this regulation. I
So
don't
a
know.
900 square foot unit, which is the most you can have, would be a 2 or 3 bedroom. Okay? I'm trying to just get you an idea of what the size would
Yeah.
be. So that would be 2 or 3 bedroom, living room, dining room, kitchen kind of thing.
But they're not really telling us how we're supposed to interpret it in terms of,
No, they consider it 2 units. And so does in housing code. They're considered multi-dwellings,
okay,
multifamily dwellings. They don't have to be just for an in-law. They can be a rental apartment. That's where it's getting into the housing routine.
yeah.
So, review takes maybe 20 minutes to a half an hour, depending on what kind of records I have.
All right, so you're suggesting that we have a plan review fee of $100.
On our records right now, on our listings right now, we have plan review fee. We usually only use it for, food. You know, someone comes in with a new food place, we use it for that, and they charge, the first time through, they get $100. Whatever you want, but I'm just saying, do you want to charge a fee, given that, you know, it needs more review? Think on it. Say you have to, but
All right, so I guess maybe what I'd like to see is like, how many inspections of ADUs do we do?
Yeah.
right now, 0, because they only started February 2nd.
Okay,
How many housings do we do? About 10 to 12 a year.
okay.
And I assume when North Bedford Street goes out, it's going to be increased substantially.
All right, so then let's discuss what we think that increase is gonna be, and then tie it back to, time,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And that increase in time, and then we can evaluate whether $100 is the right number, or is it another figure.
Because if they put in a
If
separate
it's 1
system,
to, if it's 1 to 10 more a year, I don't know if that's, worth.
but if they put in a separate system, then they have to pull a disposal works permit and a,
Okay,
How-
but
you know
that
what I'm
would, that would tie back to another fee, not this fee.
right.
Okay, so let's just take a breath and take a little bit more of a, analysis of how many more we think we're gonna be doing a year. And then if it's going to be, if the plan that we're gonna be reviewing is already getting a fee for septic review, do we need another plan fee?
Well, internals. The
Okay, all right, but
housing
again,
internals.
let's just see where the numbers fall.
Mhm.
How much of an increase in time in both you and Sandra's, and then we'll go from there.
And how many we're gonna get, I guess.
Right, let's quantify as far as,
Right, I was just putting it out there because of
okay.
the amount of work it's going to cost. We did get additional test kits, and they're out at the front desk.
Yep. Thank you for that.
It's H5N1. I must have been dyslexic that day. We talked about avian flu already.
Maybe before we hit it.
That's it
Then,
for, one more. Bananas, going
No,
good?
we are Bananas,
Sorry.
just came in. They just slipped through. And so they just came in today and submitted all of their application for 2025. So their food establishment application is complete. And we're just looking for the board to vote on, make a motion to approve We Are Bananas for their 2025 permit, food establishment permit.
Okay, so were they late to the party, or they just?
They were late to the party. I found them, I was just on Facebook the other day and saw them advertising and said, what
They never
happened
came
to
in
them?"
for any type of permits or any
She
type of?
she was very apologetic. As soon as I saw it, I called.
Where are they?
We've had them.
They're on 125 Highland Street.
Yeah, and we've had them licensed for the last 2 years.
Oh, is
For
that,
some
is
reason
that
they didn't.
inside the daycare?
It
or
is.
Oh, okay,
It is.
okay, okay.
Yep, it is, so, and next year, she's gonna be, she was very apologetic.
That's all right.
We
I
worked with her on
understand.
it, so, yeah.
It's not
We
easy
get
to run a
expected.
business or two,
No.
so it's, you know,
Right, so we're just looking for the board to make a motion
To approve it.
to approve.
I will make a motion to approve We Are Bananas for their 2025 permit.
I'll second that motion.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
And then just an update in regards to SmartGov. So I'm still working. Every week I have a meeting with them and we're going over all the forms, the structure, what's required, what's not required, how it's going to work, both in the back end on the administrative end, as well as on the front end for the applicant. So we're getting pretty close. And all information's gonna be inside SmartGov, so we'll be able to generate reports, and you'll be able to ask for reports, and we'll be able to give that to you, and you'll see live. And all of this will be internal, so everyone will be able to have access to permitting. Even the disposable permits and all of that coming in, they're gonna be able to upload all of their plans. So everything will have one knowledge base, which will be great, and electronically filed. So we have a few more forms that we have to go over. Every time Chris brings something up, I always have a question, and we always go over and make some changes, but it's moving ahead, so we're good.
So do we have a target completion date? That's one question. And then do we have, what's our like,
Launch
live
date?
testing? Are we doing
live.
live testing or, you know, test and learn type process before we go live? Or do we pull the trigger and just make adjustments as we go?
Those are great questions, and I'm not
Thank you.
hard. You're welcome. So I'll speak with Patrick and Ryan. I know that they've been working
Chomping
on
on the
this
bit.
for
Yeah.
a while,
Yeah,
and
I know.
I believe if they could have had it done,
I know. Yeah,
back
yeah.
months ago, it would
But
have been.
regardless.
It would have been done. So, but no, there will be, my understanding is there's going to be training on this, and then then we will come up with documentation for all the applicants. But as we're going to, there's verbiage that will walk the applicant through the process.
Okay, so do we have a targeted launch date?
I don't have a launch
Okay,
date.
that's fair enough. That was just, you
Yep.
know. And then again, so once we get there, we're gonna go live and handhold it, or are we gonna kind of test and learn?
No, I think we're gonna jump, we're just.
Okay,
go.
right from
Mhm.
See what we
fire
get.
pan into the
Yeah,
fire. Okay,
just
fair
go.
enough.
I'll be falling off that cliff.
Okay, well, you know, again,
Seriously.
just curious as to what the process is gonna be, so,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
And that is it.
Anything else? No? All right, well, if we have nothing else unanticipated, that will wrap us up. I will entertain a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
I'll make that motion of adjournment.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and we will see you back on February 24th? What was it?
Correct.
All right.